Live to New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Munman Bhattacharya. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India and the UK sign a landmark trade deal at Chequers. PM Modi calls the conclusion of the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, or CETA, a milestone moment in bilateral ties. PM Starmer hails it as the most significant deal since UK left the EU. India and the UK launch Vision 2035 for a strong partnership in technology, defence, climate, education and people-to-people connect. PM Modi thanks PM Starmer for condemning the Pahalgam terror attack. A Russian passenger plane carrying 49 people crashes in Russia's Amur region, all feared dead. Armed clashes break out between Thailand and Cambodia in the long disputed border areas. Thai authorities say at least 9 Thai civilians killed in crossfire. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is on a 2-day visit to the UK, met his British counterpart Keir Starmer. The two leaders held bilateral talks on the entire gamut of the bilateral relationship and discussed ways to strengthen it further, and also discussed issues that are of regional and global relevance. On the occasion of PM's visit to the UK, the historic Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, or CETA, was signed and exchanged between India and the UK. The signing of the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, or CETA, reflects shared commitment to enhancing India-UK trade, driving inclusive growth and creating opportunities for farmers, women, youth, MSMEs and professionals. CETA will massively improve market access and boost bilateral trade. The FTA was signed by the Indian Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal and Secretary of State for Business and Trade Jonathan Reynolds. The agreement was signed in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his British counterpart Keir Starmer. Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended a joint press meeting with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and addressing the joint press statement, PM Modi said that it is a historic moment for both the nations. PM added that after many years of hard work, the Comprehensive Economic Trade Agreement, or CETA, between the two countries has been concluded. PM also highlighted the benefits that the FTA, called CETA in this particular context, will yield for both countries.
यह समझौता मात्र आर्थिक साझेदारी नहीं, बल्कि साझा समृद्धि की योजना है। एक और भारतीय टेक्सटाइल, फुटवियर, जेम्स एंड ज्वेलरी, सी फूड और इंजीनियरिंग गुड्स को यूके में बेहतर मार्केट एक्सेस मिलेगा। भारत के एग्रीकल्चर प्रोड्यूस और प्रोसेस्ड फूड इंडस्ट्री के लिए यूके की मार्केट में नए अवसर बनेंगे। भारत के युवाओं, किसानों, मछुआरों और एमएसएमई सेक्टर के लिए यह समझौता विशेष रूप से लाभकारी सिद्ध होगा। वहीं दूसरी ओर भारत के लोगों और इंडस्ट्री के लिए यूके में बने प्रोडक्ट्स जैसे मेडिकल डिवाइसेस और एरोस्पेस पार्ट सुलभ और किफायती दरों पर उपलब्ध हो सकेंगे।
PM Modi also highlighted the benefits of double contribution convention that was agreed with the FTA deal, and PM Modi said that the trade deal will significantly boost the employment opportunities for both nations.
इस समझौते के साथ ही डबल कंट्रीब्यूशन कन्वेंशन पर भी सहमति बनी है। इससे दोनों के सर्विस सेक्टर, विशेषकर टेक्नोलॉजी और फाइनेंस के उसको एक नई ऊर्जा मिलेगी। ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस को गति मिलेगी। कॉस्ट ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस घटेगा और कॉन्फिडेंस ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस बढ़ेगा। साथ ही यूके की अर्थव्यवस्था को भारतीय स्किल्ड टैलेंट मिलेगा। इन समझौतों से दोनों देशों में निवेश बढ़ेगा और रोजगार के नए अवसर बनेंगे। इतना ही नहीं, दो लोकतांत्रिक देशों और विश्व की दो बड़ी इकोनॉमीज के बीच हुए यह समझौते वैश्विक स्थिरता और समृद्धि को भी बल देंगे।
PM also added that India and the UK have continued to share views on peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific, the ongoing conflict in Ukraine and the situation in West Asia. PM Modi also thanked UK PM for strongly condemning the Pahalgam terror attack.
पहलगाम में हुए आतंकवादी हमले की कठोर निंदा के लिए हम प्रधानमंत्री स्टारमर और उनकी सरकार का आभार व्यक्त करते हैं। हम एक मत हैं कि आतंकवाद के खिलाफ लड़ाई में दोहरे मापदंडों का कोई स्थान नहीं है। हम इस बात पर भी सहमत हैं कि एक्सट्रीमिस्ट विचारधारा वाली शक्तियों को डेमोक्रेटिक फ्रीडम का दुरुपयोग नहीं करने दिया जा सकता। Those who misuse democratic freedoms to undermine democracy itself must be held account. इकोनॉमिक ऑफेंडर्स के प्रत्यार्पण के विषय पर भी हमारी एजेंसी सहयोग और समन्वय से काम करती रहेगी।
Giving a reference of cricket, Prime Minister Modi stressed that India and the UK are now giving new momentum to comprehensive strategic partnership in the coming decade. PM Modi said that with the launch of Vision 2035, India and the UK will form the basis of a strong, ambitious partnership in various fields.
जब भारत और यूके मिले और वह भी टेस्ट सीरीज के दौरान, तो क्रिकेट का उल्लेख तो करना ही पड़ता है। For both of us, cricket is not just a game, but a passion, and also a great metaphor for our partnership. There may be a swing and a miss at times, but we always play with a straight bat. We are committed to building high-scoring, solid partnership. आज संपन्न हुए समझौते और विजन 2035 इसी स्पिरिट को आगे बढ़ाने वाले माइलस्टोन है।
Speaking at the joint press meeting, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that the landmark deal with India means jobs, investment and growth.
It's a deal that will bring huge benefits to both of our countries, boosting wages, raising living standards, and putting more money in the pockets of working people. It is good for jobs, it is good for business, cutting tariffs and making trade cheaper, quicker and easier.
UK Prime Minister said that the FTA deal with India is the biggest, most economically significant trade deal that the UK has made ever since it left the EU.
This is the biggest and most economically significant trade deal that the UK has made since leaving the EU. Thank you, Prime Minister, for your leadership and for your pragmatism. And I'd like to thank everybody who's worked so hard to get this deal over the line.
The UK PM said that the deal is good for the consumers as it will bring down prices of Indian goods in the United Kingdom.
It is good for consumers because it will bring down prices on Indian goods in the United Kingdom, like clothes and shoes and food, and it will deliver benefits for the long term. It will add about £4.8 billion to the UK economy every year and £2.2 billion to wages and hundreds of millions of pounds to regions and nations up and down the United Kingdom.
Prime Minister, along with UK PM Keir Starmer, visited an exhibition where products were displayed by Indian businesses based in Britain. English Premier League trophy was also on display at the exhibition. During the visit, PM Modi also met players of Buckinghamshire street cricket hubs. Street cricket hubs in the UK offer accessible and inclusive cricket programs, particularly for the young people. Industry has lauded the signing of India-UK FTA. Speaking with DD India, Chairman Vedanta Anil Agarwal said that this is a great achievement between Britain and India as they work down the progressive path. He further added that the deal will boost economic activity and create many more jobs.
Signing FTA is a great achievement between Britain and India. A lot of hard work has gone. I congratulate Prime Minister Stammer and our Prime Minister Modi and his team to achieve this milestone. It was not an easy job. Both countries has worked very hard. This will help both the country to increase the trade at least by $20 billion. Phenomenal job opportunity will come for both the country. India has a huge potential for back office, data center, development. UK will be the best partner for them. And this FTA will help both the country. Thank you.
Confederation of Indian Industry, or CII, has welcomed the India-UK FTA as a transformational milestone in bilateral economic relations. Founder and chairman of Bharti Enterprises and co-chair of the India-UK CEO Forum, Sunil Bharti Mittal, said Indian industry across all sectors welcomes the India-UK FTA with great optimism. This agreement establishes a modern, forward-looking partnership that will stimulate innovation, ease market access and foster investment. Businesses in India as well as the UK stand to gain tremendously as it lays the groundwork for scaling up bilateral cooperation across key growth sectors. The Director General of CII, Chandrajit Banerjee, said CII has been a long-standing advocate for a comprehensive and forward-looking India-UK free trade agreement. This FTA marks a defining moment in our bilateral relationship, reflecting a shared commitment to inclusive growth, economic resilience and industrial transformation. It creates a strong foundation for deeper market access, regulatory cooperation and next-generation partnerships between Indian and UK businesses. Still to come on DD India News Hour. India calls for immediate ceasefire and hostage release, urges diplomacy in Gaza-Israel crisis. India nears completion of Samudrayan, its first crewed deep-sea mission with Matsya 6000 advancements. President Xi of China wants EU leaders to make correct strategic choices at a tense summit with EU officials in Beijing.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD News Live. In a statement delivered during UNSC quarterly open debate on the situation in the Middle East, India asserted that the ceasefire must be put in place and all hostages must be released. Speaking at the debate, India's permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador P. Harish, noted that dialogue and diplomacy remain the only viable paths to achieving these objectives. He emphasized that intermittent pauses and hostilities are not enough to address the scale of humanitarian challenges confronting the region's people.
Today's meeting takes place against the backdrop of a persisting humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Intermittent pauses and hostilities are not enough to address the scale of humanitarian challenges confronting the people who grapple daily with acute shortages of food and fuel, inadequate medical services, and lack of access to education. The way ahead is clear, and India has been consistent in this regard. The ongoing human suffering must not be allowed to continue. Humanitarian assistance needs to be facilitated in a safe, sustained, and timely manner. There is no substitute to peace. A ceasefire must be put in place. All hostages must be released. Dialogue and diplomacy remain the only viable paths to achieving these objectives. There are no other fixes or solutions. In conclusion, India underscores its readiness to contribute to efforts that are aimed at shaping a political horizon that restores hope for the Palestinians and achieving sustained peace in the Middle East.
India is one step closer to realizing its first crewed deep ocean exploration. Samudrayan, which is part of the government's larger deep ocean mission, will send humans to a depth of 6,000 meters. It will undertake its journey in a spherical submersible vessel, Matsya 6000. On Wednesday, ISRO announced that it had completed a key weld for this capsule. This is the first time in India that such a thick titanium alloy sphere was welded. This was achieved after nearly 700 trials. This achievement is significant because it is India's first ever human-rated deep-sea weld on a titanium sphere using advanced space-grade technology. A devastating plane crash occurred in Russia's Far East on Thursday involving an Antonov An-24 aircraft operated by Angara Airlines. The plane was carrying 49 people and, as initial information suggests, everyone on board was killed. The burning fuselage of the plane, which was far from the Soviet era and was nearly 50 years old, was spotted on the ground by a helicopter, and rescue crews were rushing to the scene. The helicopter saw no evidence of survivors from above. The plane was on a domestic flight from Blagoveshchensk to Tinda and dropped off radar screens while approaching Tinda, a remote town in the Amur region bordering China. Authorities have launched an investigation into the crash. Thailand launched airstrikes on Cambodian military targets on Thursday as Cambodia fired rockets and artillery, killing at least 11 civilians in a dramatic escalation of a long-running border row between the two neighbors. The neighbors are locked in a bitter spat over an area known as the Emerald Triangle, where the borders of both countries and Laos meet, and which is home to several ancient temples. Vowing to retaliate, Thai Foreign Ministry spokesperson Nikorn Dej Balungkura said that Cambodia's attack targeted a military base and civilian areas.
On the morning of 24th July 2025, heavy artillery was fired into the Thai military base and continued throughout the morning. The attacks also targeted Thai civilian areas, including a hospital, resulting in civilian casualties and fatalities. The Royal Thai government is prepared to intensify our self-defense measures if Cambodia persists in its armed aggression and violations upon Thailand's sovereignty in accordance with international law and principle.
Thai authorities also announced the closure of all border points with Cambodia. Rear Admiral Surasant Kongsiry said that Thailand escalated the security measures along the border from level 2, which only restricts the crossing borders of the people and the period of time that they can cross, to level 4, which involves the complete closure of all border checkpoints along the Thai-Cambodian border.
Since the situation has escalated, we felt obligated and compelled that the ad hoc center has to escalate the security measures along the border from level 2, which only restrict the crossing borders of the people and the time or the period of time that they can cross. Now we have escalated the measures to level 4, which involves the complete closure of all border checkpoints along the Thai-Cambodian border.
Meanwhile, Thailand's neighboring nation Malaysia has called on Thailand and Cambodia to stand down following deadly border clashes. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim urged the two Southeast Asian neighbors to enter into negotiation. The conflict blazed up on Thursday, with Cambodia firing rockets and artillery shells into Thailand and the Thai military scrambling F-16 jets to carry out airstrikes. United States and European officials signaled progress in tariff talks on Wednesday after U.S. President Donald Trump announced a pact with Japan, and China said its vice premier would attend bilateral negotiations next week. In an attempt to slash his country's trade deficits, Trump has vowed to hit dozens of countries with punitive tariff hikes if they do not hammer out a pact with Washington by the 1st of August. Trump said that the United States was in the process of completing a trade deal with China and would be setting straight tariffs for most of the rest of the world.
We're in the process of completing our deal with China. And as you know, the UK, we made a deal. It was a very good deal for everybody. But mostly we'll be charging straight tariffs to most of the rest of the world, because we have over 200 countries, and we're making deals with various Asian countries that need it. And it's actually hard to believe, you don't think of it, but Asia is very close to Alaska, relatively speaking. It's not the closest, but it is pretty much the closest when it comes to oil and gas and energy, and we're making some incredible deals.
Washington has so far unveiled just 5 agreements, including with Japan and the Philippines. The others are with Britain, Vietnam and Indonesia. Negotiations remain ongoing with major U.S. trading partners, China, Canada, Mexico and the European Union. Several EU diplomats added that the bloc was examining a U.S. proposal involving a 15% tariff and sectoral carve-outs still to be decided. EU Trade Chief Maros Stefcovic was expected to speak with U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick on Wednesday. Separately, representatives from China and the U.S. will meet next week in Swedish capital Stockholm to further negotiations before an April 12 deadline agreed in May. Chinese President Xi Jinping called for deeper trust between China and the European Union in a turbulent world as top EU leaders met in Beijing for a high-stakes summit on Thursday. Despite the ceremonial tone meant to commemorate the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations, the meeting underscored growing tensions between the bloc and Beijing. EU representatives raised concerns over China's trade practices, citing fears that an influx of cheap subsidized goods could flood European markets and hurt local industries.
Europe has always believed in the power of free trade to drive prosperity, and that competition has to be fair. We know that our trade relationship today needs more balance. Rebalancing is a necessity, and it is also in the interest of a stronger relationship between us.
While President Xi positioned China as a stable and reliable global partner, implicitly contrasting it with the United States, EU leaders urged concrete steps to resolve the mounting challenges.
As long as we both firmly practice multilateralism, the trend towards a multipolar world will continue to strengthen. I am fully confident about this. This morning, President Xi Jinping held a meeting with the two presidents, where the two sides reached an important consensus about further deepening China-EU relations.
Time now for some sports action. Rishabh Pant, who retired hurt on the opening day of the 4th Test in Manchester, has suffered a fracture in his right toe, an injury that could take up to 2 months to heal. BCCI later issued a statement confirming Pant will no longer perform wicket-keeping duties in the remainder of the Test at Old Trafford and will be replaced by Dhruv Jurel for the same. Pant, however, remains available to bat as per the team's requirements. The India vice-captain was hit during the final session on day 1 when he copped a blow, in fact, to his right foot while attempting a reverse sweep of Chris Wokes. He was batting on 37 at that point, and England even sought a referral for LBW, only for the replays to confirm an inside edge. India have crossed the 300-run mark. That's all in this edition of DD India Live, but do share your thoughts with us on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. This is Munmun Bhattacharya from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.